Today's show is about the power of food, and you'll hear from a chef who's committed to raising awareness about our food system. Chef Rocky Barnett is a chef without a restaurant who's willing to go anywhere to prove that clean, green, sustainable cuisine can happen everywhere. He interned at the Inn at Little Washington in Virginia, graduated culinary school, and returned to the Inn at Little Washington, where he became the executive sous chef, a position he held for 3.5 years. He now works with Food and Water Watch on various sustainable food campaigns and helps inspire people to take pride in their food choices. Welcome to your supernatural life, Rocky.
Oh, thank you very much.
So, Rocky, tell us a little bit about how you got started cooking. I read that you were cooking with your great-grandmother. Is that true?
Yeah, I was kind of raised by my great-grandmother, and she, I guess, being a homemaker starting in the Depression era, had a lot to do with trying to make food and make really good food and actually grow the food and put the food by. And so I kind of grew up in her kitchen and started young, helping her shuck corn, can peaches, and do whatever was going on that day.
That's fabulous. And now you live in Texas, where you raise your own pigs and chickens, and you grow your own produce in an organic garden, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, definitely. Live in far west Texas, which is kind of like the desert, but we have a good growing season out here, and I was able to move out here and do the work that I do, but also raise the pigs and have a few chickens and grow food.
So do you slaughter and sell your pigs and chickens, or is it just for your own family?
I haven't sold any of it. I did slaughter the majority of them myself, and then the last couple were so large that I took them to an agricultural college where they only do 1 or 2 animals at a time, and hope to teach the students, the right way of doing things.
Uh-huh. So is that a new experience for you, or is that something you learned from your great-grandparents?
It was new in terms of actually raising the animal for its whole lifespan, then slaughtering it myself, and then going through processing all the different parts and curing the meats and making sausage and stuff. I had done all the cooking parts before, and I'd done the butcher parts before, and I'd raised animals before, but I'd never, made the sealed it together by the actual slaughter process.
Mm-hmm. So now you say our food system is broken. What specifically do you think needs repair?
I think there's a lot of different things, but specifically what we've been talking about recently is the stranglehold that a handful of corporations have on our food system that are really keeping the small farmers from getting the money that they deserve for the work that they do and the crops that they raise. And it's also keeping the prices in the grocery store really high, and all the money is just going to the corporations. And so we're spending a ton of money on our groceries, and the farmers that are growing it and raising the crops aren't seeing that money. And so it doesn't really make a lot of sense.
So a way around that would be to shop at a farmer's market, for example, so that the farmer benefits directly? Is that what you're saying?
I think that's a beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I think we definitely can't just shop our way out of it. What else we'd like to do on top of that is we want to talk to our elected officials about our food system, because I don't think they've heard from us enough that we're concerned about the safety and sustainability and fairness of our food system, and they need to be held accountable for building a better food system for the future of our country.
So what can the average person do to help fix the food system, aside from getting involved in politics?
Well, that's kind of what we're advocating. I think shopping at farmers markets and supporting local farmers is just like a wonderful way to start, because you start learning more, and you have you know where your food's coming from then, and it's it's safe, and you can talk about the food with the person who grew it. But I think the next thing is to take action. I think there's laws that need to be enforced and laws that need to be written to ensure the safety of our food, and it's really easy to get politically involved these days. You don't necessarily have to go out and be an activist yourself, but websites like our Food and Water Watch organization, provide a pretty clear path for people to take action by signing petitions and letters and giving you information on who you can call.
Well, tell us a little bit about Food and Water Watch for people who don't know what it is. Can you describe what they do?
Yeah, Food and Water Watch is a national consumer advocacy organization that fights for our food system and our water rights, and really advocates for policy that keeps all these things safe, so that we don't have these terrible issues like we are with the salmonella in eggs and water in communities.
Right. I guess what I understand is that the chances of salmonella in organic or free-range eggs is much less than the ones that are factory farmed. Is that true?
Yeah, and it comes down to a labeling issue too. But a lot of the eggs that are claiming to be organic and factory, and free range, it's a lot of just marketing. A lot of that might be factory farmed as well. So we also on the website kind of demystify all the labeling that goes on in the food system, so that people can understand what it is they're buying in the marketplace and understand what's safe and what's not.
That's really excellent. So if you're just joining us, I'm speaking with Chef Rocky on Your Supernatural Life here on Green 960. For podcasts of this show, go to yoursupernaturallife.com. So can you explain what do you mean by sustainable food? You know, we hear that term a lot, and I know what it means in terms of fish, because we don't want to overfish, but what do you mean by sustainable food in general?
When I think about it, I think it is sustainable in terms of the farmer that grows it gets a fair price. It's accessible to people. It's grown in a safe manner so that it's safe for you to eat, and it doesn't destroy the environment at the same time. So it's kind of like the holistic approach to it. It's sustainable as a business model for farmers. It's sustainable so that it's healthy for us and it doesn't destroy the environment.
It's kind of like a fair trade sort of situation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about the situation with the fish that we eat, and do you think that all farmed fish is bad? Because now you go to a restaurant, sometimes you see organic farmed fish, and I'm suspect of that. So I want to get your opinion.
I think you should be. Yeah. I don't think there's not an official certification for organic fish, so a lot of that fish might be coming from other countries that don't have organic standards, and they're saying, "Oh, we have this organically farmed fish from Scotland." Well, they might not have the same standards that we do for our USDA certified organic foods, so it's not necessarily organic. And the other thing is that not all farm fish is bad. I think farm fish that is done inland in a recirculating water facility where everything's controlled and it's not something that's sitting out in the middle of the ocean with tons of pesticides and antibiotics dumped in on top of it, in these giant cages where these fish that don't even belong in that area, like Atlantic farm salmon, that is bad. But something that's done inland, like they do tilapia, catfish, shrimp, it's done really well so that they're able to manage the effluent, and they're not they're raising things that aren't dependent on sources of other fish that are being depleted in the ocean, like catch lots of sardines, anchovies, things like that by the ton to feed these fish to make them grow. But in the what we're calling the bad farm facilities, so not all farm fish is bad.
So in other words, the inland fish farms that you say raise tilapia and shrimp are okay, but how do you know that they're not giving the fish growth hormones or antibiotics or colorings? How would we know that? Is there a label on that's?
I think you need to do a little research, and also Food and Water Watch publishes every year a safe seafood guide that is available on our website, foodandwaterwatch.org, and that's a really good guide to, and it's current, so we publish it every year, so it gives people the ability to have that in your pocket and go out and kind of demystify a lot of these things that you see on menus.
I see. So they talk about, because I only thought that they talked about the fresh fish, but they also talk about the farm fish as well, and what's safe and what's not.
Yeah, because like U.S. farm catfish, U.S. farm shrimp, tilapia, farmed oysters, farmed mussels, farmed clams. These are all things that you do want, because it's kind of proven that it's good and it's safe. It's safe for the environment and safe for the people who are eating it.
Well,
And it's a sustainable source of these kinds of seafood.
great. And they have the same nutritional benefits than the wild versions.
Yeah, absolutely. Same nutritional benefits, and they don't have any of the frightening things like PCBs or contaminants or pollutants that are some of the wild seafood suffering from now.